Welcome to another edition of Florida Pickers. Here we are on April 25th, 2020, and we're looking at a 1951 Ford Custom Sedan. So we'll start out in front here, give you a little view of the side just so you have an idea of what we're dealing with. I don't want to shut this door too hard. I've got a couple of props on that hood. The hinges there aren't holding it up, but this is the vehicle. So let's start from the front and work our way back today. Now, in 1951, in the post-war years, the Fords back then, they were kind of bringing them out to the public and, flailing a little bit as far as the design goes. And even the names. This one's the Custom, and that was only named that for that 1 year, 1951. So, first thing here, this is a V8, which is a really nice addition to this vehicle. It makes the fact that it's a four-door kind of like a positive that it's got the V8. So you'll notice also before I take you over to that little tag and show you that it does have a VIN number, which is something we really need to write down and take note of because that should match the title, is the colors here. We've got yellow, we've got a light blue, and we got green. Well, that firewall green is supposedly the original color. So one way you could tell is you can see the yellow definitely is flaking off. The blue is kind of hard to tell whether it's under the green or not, but I think if you really start scratching over in there, you'd see that the blue will actually come off. It's on top of the green. So I've got these propped by a little kind of a unique system here with a couple of pieces of wood I found, but basically I don't want to get myself too far under here. I might get decapitated. But what we're looking at here is, as I said, there's your 8-cylinder motor. You're probably a 200 or something like that. I'm not big on telling you the numbers and things like that, but it's, horsepower wise, it's even less. Here we go with a VIN number, and if I can maybe scratch a little off here of that paint I was talking about, we can get an idea what that number is. And again, I don't want to get my head too close, but there's your VIN number. Everybody knows I'm a stickler on finding the number. A lot of times it's also on the doorpost. This one doesn't have it there. So fortunately, that really does help because that's like a dog tag. That's like your tag on your shirt if you want to know what brand you're wearing. So in this case, that number is particular to this vehicle. And it's unique and a way to identify more than just, the size of the engine and, the year and the make and the model. Again, this is a custom, and so one of the things as we work our way around to show what that is we look at the badging, and there is the custom. And now we're missing a piece of trim here. But let's just go ahead and do this video for someone who might be interested in taking this home. Now, they're not going to drive it. It probably hasn't been driven for many years. I believe the last time this license plate was renewed was 1988. But I know you're chomping at the bit to get inside and also take a look at the rust issues and such. One of the things I've noticed about this vehicle is that the doors do open and they don't seem to be sagging a whole lot, which is a really good sign. So we're without an ignition or trunk key, so we have no idea what's in the trunk, but we're pretty sure there's no dead bodies in there. Of course, by now, we'd never know until we opened it. I believe this piece right here is missing of the trim, so this is about the only piece of brightware that's missing. But another opportunity to take a look and see the original color is green. A lot of people like to paint these things black. I kind of like the yellow color, actually. I've been calling this the Yellow Submarine. Interior wise, it doesn't appear to be the original interior. Well, if it was green, it definitely isn't. I don't think that those seats came out of this and were reupholstered. Basically, the situation there is someone just slapped some other seats in there and use the same for the doors. And here you can kind of tell over here where it's coming apart. Someone's taken these apart and gone ahead and done this to match. But if we do look over here, we have an insignia again up on the front. over by the non-existent radio that says custom, and there's Ford on the steering wheel. We'll make our way over there. Look at that, even Magic Air. I think that's another nice name for a vent. Talking about the names of these cars, it's so funny that the other vehicle, the predecessor from 1950, is the Custom Deluxe. So they dropped the Deluxe for this year. I believe that, you know, maybe that's because it was in the only model or what have you, or, you know, probably had a 6-cylinder. It might have been a little something different with a name. But it's funny because it seems like you run into these vehicles, whether they're Chevy or Ford, and they're like custom or deluxe. Now here it's kind of a split windshield. That makes this thing unique. And another thing that makes it unique is it has 4 vents. So take a look right here. We've got 4 vents. So if you look, and we're talking about trim pieces, if we wanted to go count them, there's like 2 on the floorboards back here. So let's just say that one of them goes to the door here, and again the V8 insignia matched on the other side. We're missing the hubcaps. This is like the air cleaner cover, and so that's there. That goes right there into the carburetor. See that says Ford right there. I mean, there's no question, obviously, that that's the original motor. There's the horns are up there mounted. I'm not sure if that was a retrofit, but when you look at various situations here, like you got the bumpers, but they're rusty, you know. Now sometimes these were chrome and sometimes they're stainless steel. So basically you can't just go and re-chrome every part. You have to take a look at what the metal is of each. But even down to these little running lights here, the blinkers, check them out. They're there, and that plastic part is on it as well. The bezels on the headlights are there. We already talked about the VIN tag. Check this out. Even your rear view mirror is attached to the door on the post, on the higher part here, rather than where they normally are. But let's get in here and like we're going to be driving somewhere. And the first thing I noticed is a big hole in the floor, but someone pointed out that could be where they had a problem with the master cylinder. And then if you look, there's 2 pedals. The brake pedal is depressed totally, but there you have a clutch. So this would be a 3-speed, so we can go ahead and play like we're shifting if we want. The insignia for Ford over here with a custom again, rear view mirror, the everything here. Even I noticed that in the glove compartment there was some paperwork that gave you a little bit of history of the car. There's the blower, and the miles is 76,878. But I love the configuration of these old dials and the old instrument panel, and even down to the clock. And look at that ashtray. So that'd be that was a lighter, but figure what that is here. I don't want to break anything. How about that? Look at ventilate, heat, defrost, high. How about that? Cool. On your temperature gauge. Wipers, lights, and old font. Even the speedometer has that classic 50s look. Probably more like a 40s look because it was a carryover. We have rust issues throughout. So if we wanted to go look at the underside and the undercarriage and get an idea of what we're dealing with. Well, you know what? It doesn't look too bad to me. I think there's a potential for restoring this, and I can see that it's going to need complete restoration. So the question is how bad do you want it? If you want it of 1951, this is it. I'm going to go ahead and start to close it up a little bit. Again, I'm sure that we've got pan issues in here with the floorboards and such. Yeah, you can see water's gotten in here. It's a good opportunity to see where water does get in this car, because the it has rained hard recently. So you can kind of get an idea that you've got water coming in. There's the old Ford badge that would have been on the trunk, because there's the one on the hood already. So we're going to shut this down so you can get an idea of what the whole car looks like, and then we'll close this out. Funny, these tail lights, one of which is broken, the other one is actually too long for the car. Got to thinking whether maybe they just ran out of the regular proper size. Maybe they weren't made yet. Maybe it's early production model. But anyway, that's kind of funny because it doesn't really match like it's the original for the car, but I can't imagine someone replacing those with that. Okay, so now we're going to take this down, and I need to take this out, and we'll put that here, and we'll set this down, and we'll get a good picture of the whole car. So there you go, 1951 Ford, 4-door, ready to go to a new home. Serious rust issues throughout. And we're signing off. Take one last walk around. We never really looked at the rear bumper. It's missing this side here. Who knows? That might be in the trunk. This is where the key goes in to open the trunk. We do not have a key. We do have a title. And we're talking about the owner, that is. And right here, mud daubers have actually blocked the opening to the gas tank, so needs a new gas tank as well. 1951 Ford Custom Sedan.